And we are live. Welcome to Brainwashed on Heavy. We about to get it going. Y'all just relax, feel the vibe for a sec. While I go ahead and get everything together. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Brainwashed on Heavy, where we talk about some very, very controversial yet deep, thought-provoking topics. I am your host, Brother Mordeed, with my co-host, DCR. We're about to get into what we get into.
What's up, brother?
What's up, man? I've been kind of waiting for to get into this because it's like dealing with POD. We deal with kind of like everyday stuff that people deal with. When we come up with Brainwashed on Heavy, we kind of can get comfortable and talk about things that people kind of shy away from. But over here, it's all good. What's been up with you?
It's all good, man. Just doing what I do best, elevating myself. That's about it. Preparation every day for what's to come, or we don't know what's really coming. So just necessary preparation. Necessary preparation. That's all.
Yeah, I saw an article today that they actually gave a grant to I want to say it was MIT. I have to start getting my receipts together and posting them so people can actually see. But I think they gave a grant to MIT to try to figure out some sort of scientific way to put the free lunch into the vegetable supply. But here's the thing, that is horrible in itself. But the thing that gets me going is still got to ask that one question: why are they so hard pressed to make sure
we get that in us?
Yeah. So that in itself, right there, is like should let the average person know something's not quite right. And if you ain't figured it out yet, then you already dead. But it is what it is.
But you know what, too, though?
Go ahead.
It also has but without getting it injected in your system, you have a fighting chance, I believe, though. You know what I mean? As long as you taking, however they try to put it in your system, you're still able to fight it, to me, if it's not being injected right in your bloodstream. You know what I mean? Because you have defenses. They go beyond the defenses when they use those needles and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, they bypass the certain defenses and things that we got, hardwired our biology. But it is what it is. But not surprised. But so what you I mean, a lot of people is not really paying attention to our sun, man. Our sun is kind of going bonkers too. Of course, we're in a solar cycle right now, so our sun is shooting off a lot of CMEs, and It's acting real weird right now. The average person is not going to be concerned with what our son is doing. They're going about their business, their everyday business. But keep in
Right.
mind, our son has a profound effect on our psychology and what we do on this planet, because those photons are particles of light, and it's information. So for whatever reason, we're in that cycle, and our sun is doing what it does, and it's feeding us a level of information, whether we know it or not. So I think we need to keep that in mind for those who know, and people in my circle. We kind of talk about these things. That's why this show was called The Greater Mysteries. These are the greater things that's going on in our lives that most people are unaware of. And this particular show is dedicated to the greater mysteries, because these are things that you know impact us on a major way, in a major way, but the average person is not really vibrating on the greater mysteries of life. So we discuss that here, and that's what we do. Yeah. So on that note, we're gonna get into the show and get it cracking.
Come on.
And we're back. So man, I know we were talking a little bit off air about some really how should I say, some really provocative topics, and say we should have a show where we can actually get into and unpack some of the things that will be considered the greater mysteries. Just like the other day when we were building on the term God fearing and breaking it down, and it's things like that where the philosopher and the deep thinker, um, you know, they kind of get with other minds and unpack stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with unpacking stuff like that. I think it's very healthy for your growth in your mind to really peel back the layers of things. Some people just like to say on the surface, and I get it, and that's cool. But for us being who we are, we like to unpack a lot of different things and unpack them well. But yeah, earlier we had a discussion, and you wanted to bring forth some Q&A on this show, and I was like, cool, that'll be fine. Whatever comes
So
up, and it doesn't have to be anything that has to be politically correct. I like for people to ask questions that are, and that goes for anybody that's in the chat too, to ask however it comes to you. Because sometimes people are like, well, I don't know how to say it, or it sounds dumb. And I'm like, no, there's no dumb question. It's just sometimes people have their way of presenting their inquisitive question. And sometimes you got a good person who can be able to take that information and help you unpack it a little bit. If I don't understand it, I don't understand it. But for the most part, I think I do a pretty good job with handling that. But yeah, let's get
so
into
so
your Q&A.
so let's see. So God fearing man. What submission is that? What kind of submission is that?
God-fearing man. I think that falls under the context when we hear that. Um, Most people in the context of Christendom, they use that term a lot. A God-fearing man, and that's a man who is, and people get caught up in the word fear, but I think it's on along the lines of a person who's willing to submit to something greater than themselves in a very humble manner. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think it's our way of submitting to, you know, what's up, Rex?
What's good with you, man?
What's up, brother?
What up, man?
I'd like to welcome Ricks to the show.
Yeah.
But now we was talking about this the God fearing topic that came up, and
Yeah.
trying to unpack that a little bit more in depth. And like I was saying, under the context of Christianity, that is a term that's used a lot. It doesn't denote a level of weakness. I just think that for those who are under that umbrella, it gives the woman the sense of her mate is willing to submit to something greater than himself. And if you're under that umbrella, then that's the mo that they kind of like to roll with. There's nothing wrong with that if
I
that's
don't
your
see nothing wrong with it now.
that's your
Now that
lane.
you're explaining that, I don't see nothing wrong with it either. To be
Yeah, if
honest with
that's
you.
your lane. But fearing God in the sense, well, here's the thing about people who are more spiritual. They have somewhat of a different take on the God concept because God is a concept. Believe it or not, it's a concept. Um, Now, when you're talking about source, you can look around you and just by your own reality tell that there's something greater than yourself. And we can just equate that to source. When we start getting into putting, uh, uh, making it personal, that's when you run into situations where people can kind of come and challenge it. But when you just say source, source is all. And we are all fragments of source. So me and source are one and the same. It's just that the capacity at which we operate is on a smaller scale than ultimate source. That's just like a socket in a wall. It has a certain level of power that socket is going to be able to emit, and a certain level of energy that should flow through it. And if you start plugging up a whole bunch of shit that's more powerful than that socket can handle, what happens?
Go out.
You get overload. You get
Blow a
overload.
fuse, yeah, and then it shuts down. So we are connected to source. We operate with source. We come from source. It's just that we're operating in our capacity to express source.
Exactly. I believe we can
Makes
take
sense.
source to so many different levels. We haven't even reached the levels we can do with that source though. I always felt like us as man, our job is to manipulate and build off of that source. That source has its own way of, how can I say, evolving, but we also use that source to bring forth dimensions. You know what I mean? We create universe, we create dimensions. You know what I mean? We create realities. You know what I mean? So that's
I'm
our
gonna give
job
you
is
a, I'm gonna give you a
building.
cool way of understanding dimensions in a very practical sense. Back in, let's say, the 90s, growing up in our neighborhood doing what we was doing, that was a dimension that doesn't exist anymore.
Right,
We're in a whole new one right now.
right.
That's and we created that reality at that moment in time. Everything that was going on, everybody that exists in that time and space created that particular dimensional reality. It doesn't even exist anymore. It's a memory.
Right.
We're in a whole new dimension right now.
But you know what's sad about that though? And not sad, not even sad, but you know what's great about it? Everything today is just is more of a, it's like a seed from, it's like a seed from that dimension though. It's like altered. You know what I mean? So it's like you'll always find it's really not actually a time in the past. I mean, it's really not how, what word did you use
For
when you
what?
said that it doesn't exist anymore? It does exist, to my opinion. It does exist because everything today is seeded from that, and that you can find that in everything today. If you break down
Okay.
everything today, you can always find where, you can always dig down to the where it started. You know what I mean? Which you can keep digging and digging and digging and digging, but it's always present. You know, like sort of
Well, it
like
exists
how,
in your mind. It
yeah,
exists in your mind.
yeah, but
Exactly.
it also exists in the forms in the it also exists in structure too. Just like let's say about the first car. If you look at the new cars today, you'll still see the first car not as how it manifests itself, you know, on a like the frame, the physical
I
part, but
see what you're saying.
it's
Like
still
you're
got
talking like the end result. We are still here. You know what I'm saying? We was there back then and we're still here now.
yeah, but we just look
This is
different, but we still on the same structure
got
to a degree that you could still find that structure is just altered and more you know what I mean, louder than you than but it still links down to that basic simple structure is still there in everything. Like cars, they take you from one destination to another. They use time, the same thing as the old cars. Like they, you know, everything is still kind of the same, but it's altered to a faster, it's like we said, a dimension. But at the same time, you'll still find that old seed inside of it. You'll still always that old seed will always exist in the present.
So you say we basically evolving.
Yeah, we're evolving, and that seed is still with us. That old seed is still with us as as we evolve, because we can still see that same picture is just altered.
I got you.
It's a reflection. It's a reflection.
Yeah.
A good example, and I know this is going to get uh, well. Walk with me here. When you look at the physical plane that we exist in, um, it seems that everything is tangible. You can touch it, you can feel it, and all that stuff, right? But
Right.
this dimension is actually just a shadow or reflection of something that predates it. In other
Right.
words, if you take the astral plane, the astral plane will be realer than this plane. This plane is just a reflection of the astral plane. So as you travel, quote unquote, not definitively, but when you travel down into matter, the vibration or the frequency slows down. Things become tangible and hard. But when you speed up everything, they become elusive or to the point where you can't visibly see them anymore. That's the plane that is presides higher than this one, so to speak. So when you talk about
Right.
astral existence, everything you see in this world exists in the astral plane. The only thing that changes is the rules that govern them. The
Right.
rules that govern this plane says you can't walk through a wall because the frequency of the atoms are vibrating so slow that you can't walk through the wall. Those are the laws governing 3D. But when you speed up the dimension to 4D and 5D, the laws change. Now you can walk through the wall, you can fly, you can manifest things just by thinking them. This what happens when we physically leave the body and go to a higher dimension. So death, as our ancestors put it, was just a travel back home, and coming here was actual death. It's in reverse. To be in a body is to die, and to die is to live. It's backwards. Because
Yeah.
now it's like going in space. To go in space, you got to put on a spacesuit because there's no oxygen. There's a complete environment in space that you can't even exist in unless you put on a suit.
I just got a question for you with that one. Is that actually proven though, or is that
But
I mean, like space as far as not being able to breathe in space? Because the thing with the sun, you know, it burns, and they come up with all this reason why the sun is burning, but you need oxygen for fire, right? So have they been honest about space? Because damn near hundreds and thousands and millions of us never been to space. You know what I mean? Like, damn, there's only a little handful of people that if they ever even been to space. So is the thing about space even true? And space might be a place that we might can breathe in. Maybe they kind of closing from us because if we feel we can't breathe there, we'll never travel there. We'll never make an attempt. We feel like that's beyond us. But what if space is a place where man can breathe? What if we can breathe out there? I'm just saying. I'm not saying, you know, I ain't
okay,
saying no
let's
facts, man.
It
I'm
makes
saying about
sense. It makes sense. It
let's
makes sense.
unpack let's unpack your theory. First of all, you got to deal with the sun. Um, People think the sun is a big ball of burning fire. Not true. So your understanding of fire and needing oxygen to burn and all this stuff, that would kind of cancel out your theory because there is no oxygen in space. So the sun can't be a ball of fire that requires oxygen to burn as we know it here on Earth.
Right.
Now, when sunlight reaches us, or when we have what you call a CME. A CME is a coronal mass ejection, and we're having a lot of those right now. Um, when those waves get to Earth, they get to Earth in particles called photons. Photons are light particles. It's just like if you look at a light bulb, right? You ever wonder how a light bulb lights up? If you look into a light bulb, a clear light bulb, it has a piece of wire in it. You ever see the little piece of wire that's inside a light bulb? A clear one.
Right. The things that burn out.
When you turn the switch, that little piece of wire vibrates extremely fast where it generates heat. And that heat creates the light. So light as we know it is the end result of vibration. It's not really light. Fire is not fire. Fire is the end result of certain elements being combined and producing what you call fire. Water is not water. Water is a combination of certain elements that produce what we call water as an end result. So when we're talking about the sun and oxygen and space, you got to question what the sun really is. And it's actually magnetic.
I like that. I really like that. Now,
So
what? So how do you feel about the?
It's radio.
So how do you feel about, like, a lot of us never been to space? So is that really like a state fact that we can't breathe in space because only a small selective few have been to space? Like, they claim that they've been to space. So however we put it, we don't know the mysteries beyond, off of Earth. Like, it's like giving it to us, like it's being channeled to us from a small group.
Okay, well, I mean, if you take the information as it's been given to us, just based on their information, then it is what it is. Based on their information, when you do the knowledge to how they, what they've given us, in a secondhand information, then you have to come to a consensus that in order to have one thing to be this, you got to have the right elements to produce it. So I see what you're saying about how do we know if we really can't breathe in space. Based on the information, which is secondhand information given to us, we can't. The only way you can actually go to space without being in a rocket ship or something like that, you have to travel there astrally. You can go anywhere, in your energetic body. You can travel to different worlds in your energetic body. And that's very real. So when we start trying to figure out things that are the greater mysteries of physicality, their limitations based on the information that we're given, it's a little biased. But then if I share what experience that I've had before, where I've been to different worlds and interacted with different beings and seen loved ones and, stuff like that, you can't tell me that's not real. I've been there. I've came back. I can describe it in detail.
I was about to ask you, have you been to Askingar?
Most places you go to that are dimensional, they really don't have names that Earth names. Those are concepts we've come up with shit here. I give you an example. I had an experience, like, and this is a good one. I had an experience where my dad passed like when I was 13, and I'm a spiritual person, so I have spiritual experiences. I'm gonna share this, on here, and sometimes people can listen to my experiences and share their own. But anyway, my dad passed, and I'd never really made contact with my dad since he had passed. A lot of family members who transitioned over, I would meet them in the astral plane, and they would let me know that they okay. I would see them. They would, describe things to me and let me know that, hey, it's all good. I'm traveling on, and and I bring that message back to the family member to say, hey, such and such is okay. He said this, he said that. I saw him. He looked good in detail. I've always been able to have those experiences with family members. My dad, like I said, transitioned when I was like 13, and he never came to visit me. And keep in mind, let me say this before I get into this story. Um, for those people who are religious that may watch this, um, there is nothing that we as human beings, so to speak, are able to do that's considered bad because the creator has given us the ability to do so. So just think about that before, you get religious folk who listen to stories and they shy away from spiritual stuff because they're indoctrinated in certain religions, and certain religions tell them that certain things are either evil, stay away from it, this, that, or the third. And that's part of their indoctrination to make sure that they themselves don't evolve greater than the parameters of that particular religion. Um, I'll say that. But anyway, my dad never came to visit me, and I was always questioning that and puzzled about it. And one day, maybe like two, give or take a year and a half ago, I had an experience. But before that, I got with a sister who she was a clairvoyant, and she gave me a message. She was like, "Look," because I was always questioning that, and she was basically saying, "Your dad feels like if he visits you, the hurt and the pain is going to be recycled all over again because he's going to have to leave again. Because when he left you, you were so young and you didn't understand. For him to show up now is going to make you feel pain all over again. This is what she's saying. His rationale is why he hasn't visited all this time." So I was like, cool. She was like, what you should do, because I do have an ancestor altar right here in my room for all the family members, as well as the statues and things of the
Sound.
Yo, your sound.
okay, could y'all hear me?
Yeah, you back.
All right. I left off saying that the sister was telling me play your dad's favorite music, find things that he loved, and play those things because those are vibrations. Sound is vibration. Everything you do, your thoughts are vibrations. Send out the vibrations to let him know that it's okay to visit. Create the environment where it's okay for him to visit. I never did do that. Fast forward to maybe like a year ago. One night, I don't know what the precursor was before I actually went to sleep, but I went to sleep and I had an astral projector. For those who don't know what astral projection is, it's when you leave your physical body and you're in your energetic or astral body. You're not in your physical body anymore. But anyhow, once I was outside of my body, um, I had some previous experiences where I was outside of my body, and there was a little boy that showed up on the side of my bed. He was just standing in my room, and when you're in the astral plane or in the higher planes, you don't when you communicate with each other, you don't use your mouth. You communicate mentally. It's called mental telepathy. So we talk by thinking our thoughts. We don't talk by your mouth and stuff like that. Some beings do that, some don't. Some will just say it, and some use mental telepathy. But the boy was telling me to follow him, And I knew that. Well, when he told me to follow him, he walked through my wall, and I knew on the other side of my wall there was a window, and then there was a drop. So I knew if I walked through that wall, that I probably would fall. So I never did follow him, and this was just like before my son was born. This occurred, and I remember the little boy showing up. Fast forward to now, maybe like a year ago, same little boy showed up. He told me to follow him. This time I did. And when I did follow him, I walked through the wall, he went through the wall, and we floated up. And as we continued to float, I started to travel outside of Earth's atmosphere, space. But this is space as the higher dimensional space, not the space of secondhand information that we've gotten from NASA and places like that. But anyhow, as I'm floating up and flying, the little boy disappears, but I can still hear him talk to me. He's still communicating with me mentally. So he says, "You ever play a video game like Super Mario Brothers, and when you clear a board, you go to the next board, and they show you the playing board from like if you up above, it looks like a checkerboard, but you're above it. As I'm traveling, there were these dark black spaces or holes in the sky, and there were voids. I read about these in some of my astral travel books. In these voids, there's nothing in these voids. It's just dark and empty. And he told me, he said, don't fly near those because they'll pull you in and you'll just be stuck. Which I knew what they were when I came back because I remember reading about them. A book on astral travel. So as I avoided the voids, I saw a small light, and as I got closer and closer to it, because I'm floating downward, and now it looks like a game board, like a video game board, but I'm above it, but I'm looking down on it, kind of like a checkerboard. But I can see like water, I can see river, I can see trees, I can see everything. And as I'm floating down, once you get down onto the board and you are parallel to the board, you're in a new dimension. So when I got there, it was bright and sunny. I saw water, trees, everything was green, and I just started to take a walk. And as I started to walk, I saw a group of people having like there was kind of like having a party, like a barbecue or something. I didn't see them eating anything, but I just knew that they were like having a party because everybody's standing around talking. So I walk up to this guy, and he turns around, and it's my dad. So he turns around and he gives me a hug, and he says, "What took you so long?" He said, "I see people traveling in and out of this astral plane all the time, and I've been waiting for you." And I told him, I was like, I was waiting for you to come see me. And keep in mind, when I saw him, he looked like he was in his prime. He didn't look old. He didn't look young. He just looked like, when you like 21, he was in his prime. And he was sitting there, he was talking to his friends and all that, and he introduced me. And after that, he was like, "Okay, I'm glad that you came." And then he turned around and went back to doing what he was doing. And that's really all I needed. And then I floated up and went to another part of the astral plane. And as I got to the different part of the astral plane, I saw an aunt that had just passed. And when I saw her, she looked in her prime. And she let me know that she was okay, because keep in mind, she had just passed. And I don't think she really came to visit anybody in the family, but I saw her. And she was just chilling and resting. And she told me that she was okay. And that was pretty much it, because she was on dialysis. And, when you're on dialysis, those treatments take a lot out of your system. It drains you a lot. So it really makes you not want to be here when you're on dialysis like that. And before she passed, she was always saying she was tired. She was tired. And she didn't want to really be here no more. But when I saw her, she was resting. The opposite of what was troubling her when she was here, and she looked great. After I saw her, I flew back up and traveled back to where I started at. Now here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. As I get back to my room and I go through the wall and I see someone standing there, but they're lost. Guess who it was? It's somebody we know. And keep in mind, everybody astral travels. And sometimes you meet people on the astral plane. But everybody astral travels. So take a wild guess. I'm not going to say the person's name, but I'm going to say this. It's Mr. Cooper's high school sweetheart. Don't say the name.
Oh.
Do you get it, Rex? You get it?
I got it.
Mr. Cooper's high school sweetheart.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
You know your cousin's high school sweetheart. You don't know who that was?
Yeah, I know who his sweetheart is. I'm trying to figure out though.
Okay. As long as you know who it is. When I came through the wall, that individual was standing there, and they were confused. They were trying to figure out how to get through the wall. I had to teach them and show them how to get through the wall. And once I did that, they went through the wall, floated on, and went on their journey. So, astral travel is very real, and it's something that we are all equipped with. They just don't want you cultivating it, because then you'll realize that physical life is not the totality of existence. That's the con. The con is this shit don't get no better than this, which really it's a lie. Because keep in mind, our bodies are great machines, and they're designed to be here and to overcome and change and heal, but they're not that durable and designed to be in this dimension forever.
Right. And I told y'all about one experience I had when I actually was outside of myself. I saw myself.
Yeah.
So and I already knew about the the astral plane, traveling wherever, outside the body. But I think if I would have known more information about it, I would have did more with it. You know what I mean? I just didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I was stuck. I wouldn't say I was stuck, but I was just right there looking at myself outside of myself.
Yeah. That's astral. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I never got that from that witch beating my ass.
Now, let me clear up something. I never got
that far because that witch be beating my ass.
Okay, let's clear that up. Let's clear that up, and that's that's something we need to talk about, because a lot of people have had what they call sleep paralysis before, and they've gotten stories attached to it where it messes up the experience. Here's the thing. It's a lot to unpack. Sleep paralysis is a natural thing because it's the body's way of paralyzing the body so the body does not act out the experiences of where you are. It's like making sure your body stays tranquil and still as your mind travels on, or your higher self travels on. And as you interact in different dimensions, you don't want your physical body to be, give you a good example. We've all seen Matrix, right? When they go into the Matrix, they plugged in, right? Anything they experience inside the Matrix damaged their physical body, right?
Right.
So sleep paralysis is the body's way of making sure you do not damage your physical body while you are experiencing whatever you're experiencing in the astral plane. It's just that sleep paralysis is scary because you're conscious of what's going on. So it feels like you are trapped. It feels like you're buried. It feels like you're paralyzed. And here's the other part about it that people don't understand. That is the threshold of astral projection, you're either leaving the body or you're coming back when you are in sleep paralysis and you wake up. And when I say wake up, I'm saying aware.
I had
So
that experience. I've seen something in that state. I don't
yes.
know if he's coming back to the body or me exiting the body. I don't.
Okay, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. When you are exiting the body, because all of this is frequency and vibration. The whole thing is frequency and vibration. When you are leaving the physical body, keep in mind the physical body is made up of 3D vibration. That's why the physical body cannot travel where the astral body can go. So in order for you to get inside your light body, you have to speed up your vibration. When you speed up your vibration, you're now in tune to a dimension that you cannot physically see if you were awake. Now you can see all the shit that's around you. You can see all the beings that are around you. You can see all the creatures that are around you. But here's the thing. If you are afraid, that is a frequency. That is a vibration.
Hey, I don't mean to cut you off, but I actually heard like a sound. It sounded like a vibration. You know, when things vibrate,
Buzzing.
that's kind of the
Yeah.
sound I was. Yeah, that's the sound I was hearing.
That is the vibration of your light body. And as it speeds up for you to leave the physical body, you hear that some people say that it feels like their entire body and bed is vibrating and buzzing so intensely. To me, the only thing I can attribute to the vibration, it sounded like a beehive was on my head, like a buzzing sounds like bees around my head. That is vibration. That is the frequency of your light body speeding up so fast that you're getting ready to astral eject out of your physical body. And when you do that, it is very important for you to not be afraid, because when you are afraid, fear is a frequency that you send out. As soon as you, because you're going to the dimension of the mind. So if your mind is in a fear state, you're gonna automatically zip yourself to a dimension where there's gonna be things that are in tune with that frequency that you may be afraid of. That's like changing the channel on a TV. So the minute you are afraid, you automatically tune into the frequency of all those low vibrating entities that are on the other side. And that's when people see things that they don't like. That's when people hear things they don't like, because they are afraid, and they're in tune to that frequency, to all those entities that vibrate on that frequency. The minute you raise your vibration and you start thinking about more positive things, you start thinking about yourself being a god, you start thinking about yourself being more in a state of supreme light, then that's a frequency. And you will shift yourself from the lower planes of the astral plane to the higher planes, and then you'll start seeing beings more like and more conducive to where you want to be. That's why I tell people astral travel is something that you should learn about and have that experience, because this is what's going to happen when you leave the body. When the heart stops and the brain stops and your body ceases to work, your light body is what's going to leave your physical body. You're going to go to another dimension parallel to this one that looks just like Earth, but that reality is going to be created by you. So if you think you're going to see Buddha, then Buddha is going to be a reality that you're going to manifest for yourself, because that's a vibration that you created. Pot, you look like this is a lot.
No, I'm listening. I'm challenged. I got heard too. So it's like I'm trying to do two things.
So yeah, this is kind of like the secret to Jesus and religion. Jesus's job was to show man metaphorically, and I'm talking about metaphorically, how to beat death, how to conquer death. Our job is to realize that you don't have to die. You don't die. You transition. The same way you got to put on a spacesuit to go in space, the same way you got to put on a human body to come to 3D. And when you leave 3D, you got to leave the 3D suit here, and you got to go put on a light suit that's composed of vibration there. So it's like a dream within a dream. Imagine when you are dreaming, you're dead to the world. I could be in your kitchen making a sandwich, eating up all your chips and shit. You wouldn't know it because you're dead to the world. But you in another world, probably, swimming with sharks or some shit. I don't know, whatever it is you dream about. But you are there.
The dreams can be so beautiful, right? Like dreams put you in places it digs deep inside your brain, man. It's like I'll be in crazy places, man. I'll be doing crazy stuff in my dreams. My dreams is always action packed though.
because that's
some go down.
That's your vibration. That's your MO.
Action.
So it's only right for you to have those experiences.
Fighting demons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yo, the craziest thing about my dreams, like if I have a fight in my dream, like I punch real slow, like this.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
Like what the fuck? Weird shit ever.
Yo.
To me, man.
I punched the demon in the face and it didn't phase him, and I punched myself and woke up. It was so weak.
You the demon, man. You the demon. That's what that told you, man.
Yo, I looked at my hand like, huh? Pow, and just woke up.
Some demons in you, man.
Yeah, so there's when a baby's born, babies have umbilical cords that connect the mom to the baby, and that is the connection to the physical world. We have the same cords when our astral bodies. When you astral travel, you got this they call it a silver cord, but you got an etheric cord that connects your astral body to your physical body. When that cord gets cut, that's when people die or transition, because you can't get back to the body after that. The best movie that explained astral was Doctor Strange. No, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I forgot about Doctor Strange. I only seen that one time in the movie.
Yeah, I gotta see that again. I've seen it. I gotta see it again.
Perfect example of physical body and light body. Because because it put it into context on the big screen for those who don't know that there's life outside of these physical bodies. You don't have to transition. I hate using the word die, but you don't have to transition to go to another dimension. You just don't have to. You can travel back and forth. Our ancestors used to do this all the time. Religion teaches you not to do that because now you really question the God thing. And you can't question the God thing inside the confines of religion. You have to go along with the doctrine. Unless you're inside of a spiritual system that teaches you the totality of spiritual activity. And if it does that, then you can be in a holistic spiritual system. But religion, monotheistic religion, does not condone nor teach the greater mysteries, because the flock or the church or the congregation or the followers will not submit to that framework. They just wouldn't. Catholic Church keeps secrets of this magnitude because you won't need the church if you understood the science.
Yeah, word. Word.
So the astral body, like in Doctor Strange, when they communicated a lot on the astral plane, they talked on the astral plane. He actually saw her before she actually died. They was actually able to talk before she actually disconnected from the body. He went into his astral body and met her, and they talked before she actually transitioned. So this is stuff that our ancestors always did. It wasn't a mystery and things that we were taught, but we've been so disconnected from it. So now it seems strange and scary because we don't put it in its proper context. So when you say things like the witch beating my ass and the witch riding my back and shit like that, those are things that have been passed down to us to scare us from entertaining the reality that you can actually leave your body.
Yeah.
That's no mistake.
Scare you from the truth.
So if people want to question that and say it's evil, then here's the thing. The creator gave me the ability to do it. If you got a problem with that, you take it up with the creator. That's for those religious people who make those kind of statements. We don't have no type of capability that we're not supposed to have. The thing is, once we're able to get a better understanding of these capabilities, we actually evolve to a greater reality. Imagine this. If most people on planet Earth understood the fact that there is no death, there's life after death, you can actually astrally travel to higher planes and higher dimensions, the reality of this world would change. Because let me tell you something, and this is very profound, and this is something that you should keep with yourself and pass it on to your kids and your family members and whomever. The Illuminati rules the world on one concept and one concept alone. And what y'all think that concept is?
Here. Right?
No. Well,
Oh.
fear kind of, but it's the fear of death. That's it.
Yeah, that's I mean fear of
That's
death. Yeah,
it.
that's
They can create weather machines, they can create diseases, they can create earthquakes, they can do whatever. But it all leads to one destination that people fear the most: death. And once you conquer that, man, I don't care if they spraying chemtrails. I don't give a fuck if they created free lunch. I don't give a fuck if they putting fluoride in the water. I don't give. But everybody's afraid of the one thing that's guaranteed to them, so they fall in line. They fall in line. I don't want that. Let me get right. They fall in line based on one concept and one concept alone.
Yeah.
Cats are afraid of death.
That's some shit that's inevitable.
Exactly. My
Crazy.
spiritual teacher used to always tell us that death is something that, like our ancient Egyptian ancestors used to always say, that death is just the beginning. It wasn't the end of anything, but it was just the doorway that you had to travel through to get back to the other side. A great movie to watch, which I hate that they whitewashed it, was The Gods of Egypt. Got to check that out. One of my favorite movies of all time. But it gives you an inkling into the physical world and the afterlife. And people don't understand that our ancestors were not obsessed with the afterlife. They make these derogatory claims about our African ancestors in Kemet, about, the Egyptians worship death, and they would bury themselves with treasure because they thought they was going to take it with them. That's all dumb shit. That's all lies. We just understood that life and death was one and the same. But Europeans gave us a science to make sure we never figure that shit out. They gave us religion. And religion says, hey, while you're here, you're going to do X, Y, and Z. And just maybe, you'll get to go to heaven if you act right. Just maybe. There's no guarantees.
Yeah.
But while you're here, you're going to do exactly as I say. And you're going to make things very, very comfortable and great for me. And just maybe you can get to the land of milk and honey and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But nobody never asked the question: when you get to heaven, what would you be doing?
That shit makes sense. That shit's crazy.
What would you be doing in heaven? Definitively, what would you be doing in heaven?
Heaven.
God's there, right? So would you have a job? Would you have bills? Would you eat? Like, what would you be doing? Nobody never asked those questions. And everybody, them important questions, because if you look at everything in existence as we know it today, it has place and it has purpose. So you can't tell me that I'm striving to get to a place where everything's perfect and I have no purpose. My purpose is to worship and praise the Creator for all eternity. That sounds like some human shit to me.
That sounds crazy. That sounds psychotic. That sounds... I don't get it.
Our ancestors said there are, you can't even count the dimensions in the worlds that we can create, that we can exist in. So there's always purpose and there's always a place.
And you even
There,
limit yourself. You even limit yourself to be going to another man's or being whatever place, and you just there.
just
Yo,
there
man,
chilling.
I mean, it's something that people really don't really look deep into that. You know what I mean? People don't. They were, they were trained to like to block off certain understandings, or they can't, they just can't comprehend it. You know what I mean? Like some people really can't understand that. Some people can't see that clear as day. Some people,
There's a,
it has to be complex for them to
yeah,
believe in it, because anything simple is just, it's not, and it's right in your face. Simplicity is like is that's truth in itself. You know what I mean? Like it's just right there in your face, but you want to make it complicated, like it ain't even there. You know what I mean? So some people can't see simplicity. They try to look at something in a complex understanding. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It's just certain things. If you just see it, look at it simply, it's laughter. It's
Yeah,
a
but you would have to question it. And if someone tells you
yeah,
otherwise, you have to find something wrong in that.
yeah.
Like
I
I
don't
need
know,
to
man.
know. I gotta know. I'm just not. I need to know.
and
Yeah,
that's
it
the
starts
beauty
with
of
Santa Claus. Starts with
that's
Santa
the
Claus, man.
yeah, that's the
Yeah,
beauty
I'm saying
of
the kid.
well, those mental constraints, all that shit is structured around commerce and money. At the end of the
Yeah, but
day,
it also makes you. It also like, but your brain is being developed to trust and believe in things that don't exist as a child.
this is this is
So,
true.
so,
This is
so it's
this is
like,
true.
they
Um,
milking you to have that type of understanding. Like whatever's told is basically real. Like whatever they tell you is like you got to go with it. So you've been programmed to accept things that haven't. You know what I mean? Like haven't
That
either been
don't make
shown to
sense.
you.
That
Yeah.
don't make sense. That don't
So
have
so when
no.
somebody come to you and throw it at you, you're kind of prone to believe it because that's how you were, groomed. You were groomed
Yeah,
to take in things that have no truth to them or have no proof of anything. You just programmed to take it in, especially if it's coming from a certain source. It's also about the source and the position.
yeah.
So
definitely.
Now let's put it in perspective because I don't want people to watch the show and think that we are taken away from purpose. I remember asking my spiritual teacher years ago. I said, if everything returns to source ultimately, then what's the point of doing anything? What's the point of striving for enlightenment? What's the point of doing anything if it all returns to source, right? And his response was, well, source or nothingness, the nothingness, right?
Nothing.
So his response was, the problem is you're trying to use a human brain to figure out and conceptualize something that's beyond concept. You have to go and experience the
don't.
beyond and come back and tell someone else about it. And even when you do that, they wouldn't understand it. You can't put into uh, human form something that's beyond human concept. The
Right.
only thing is, if I go in the room and I see something, experience something, and I come out and I tell you, yo, this happened and that happened and this happened, you're going to sit there with my explanation and try to build some sort of concept based off my fragmented experience that I'm conveying to you. But I'm going to say to you, you know what? If you really want to know, go in there. Yourself. Go in there. And then when you come out, it's like, okay, I see what you were saying. I saw it for myself. And he was pretty much saying that stop trying to figure out the greater mysteries from a human perspective when you can actually go there yourself as a being of light, as an astral entity, as an entity that can, you have people who go into meditation and they can astral project and leave their bodies and have cosmic experiences. Um, he was like, you have to develop a spiritual discipline and then have glimpses of cosmic consciousness. And when you have that, then you can fully understand that when we say nothingness, we're not talking about nothing existing, because if you utilize your human brain to try to put into some sort of picture of what nothingness is, you're probably going to say it's just black or dark. And he said, that's not it. He said, that's not it. He is like, there's existence that you can't comprehend, and it's in a state of nothingness because you don't know it. That's all.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, cool. I could deal with that. That's that made sense to me, that I have to experience source, God, divine, whatever you want to call it. I have to experience it to know it.
Yeah.
And I can't even tell the next man.
Not knowing is like nothingness. Not knowing.
Exactly, in a state of darkness. This is where you have like the Nation of Islam and different groups that we grew up around, when they talking about in the state of darkness and being dead and stuff like that. They were talking about a state of ignorance, a state of not knowing. Right. And being resurrected is bringing you to the light of knowledge and information or awareness. And that's what my teacher was pretty much saying, that you're going to have to go yourself and experience, have a cosmic experience through your meditation, through your astral travel, through your spiritual practice, whatever it is. And then you come back with that experience and you can share it with people. They're not going to fully understand it. They're going to have to be trained and taught how to go where you went and have that same experience and come back. And then y'all can all sit around and be like, you saw that shit? Yeah, I saw that shit. That shit was dope. Yeah, that shit was dope.
but we also have to, explain what dark and light means, because light is blinding also. You know what I mean? So light can also be darkness, and darkness can also be light.
The light comes from the dark.
Yeah, but what
are we talking about? Are we talking about light and dark from information, or we're talking about literally dark and light, like photons and stuff like that? Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about information as far as being enlightenment, because sometimes light also can make you blinded. I mean, you can be blinded by light, and you can be blinded in the dark. So
you're talking about information.
So you have to, I guess, find somewhere where you can define. There has to be a part in between, and but you just explain, like, light can also be dark too. You know what I mean? So
from an informational perspective, are you talking about? Or are you talking about actual?
Well, I'm talking about actually, basically from all perspectives, because I believe it still fits in that category where everything's still on that same level.
Let's pick one and
I'm talking about information.
Information. Okay. If you are an enlightened personality, that means you are a personality who has been bestowed a lot of information and knowledge. They call you brilliant, or you're bright.
But sometimes you can be bright, and you can like overthink yourself so bright that you can become in the dark, in the light.
Information, it could become blinding to certain aspects of your being when you have too much information and not enough humanity. You ever been around somebody who's I know people who are they're book smart, but they don't have no practical street smarts. And
they don't have
that hinders them. Yeah, that hinders them. That's a form of blindness.
Like, they're very awkward. Like, they cannot deal with people, but they got all the information. They just can't deal with.
Yeah, I mean, that's like getting information for a certain job, and you know how to put it together and everything. But when the parts come, there's a lot of things that can't be explained to put it together. Like the little things in between that can't be explained. So,
and that's a form of being blind. So that so when you talk about light from a brilliant perspective, and darkness from an ignorance perspective. That would be light and dark, and they have their pros and cons when it comes down to
It's kind
interacting
of like
with.
it's kind of like
Now,
putting like you think about it, you can put white on black and you could put black on white. You know what I'm saying? Like if you had these two colors, like right
okay,
here.
well, wait before we go to the color thing. We was dealing with the
Yeah, but
mind.
I'm
We're talking about
yeah,
the uh, the um, the information on a brilliant person and a person who's ignorance. Ignorance represents darkness, and brilliant represent light. Okay, let's move
right.
from that
There we
and
go.
let's get into the actual color spectrum. That's where you want to go.
Yeah, because think about it. You can make this the opposite in a light in a dark becomes the light. You understand what I'm saying? Like you can make this a white glove with black on it, and you can make a you know what I mean, or you can make it a black glove with white on it. So it's like it's still with those
They
principles,
they exist within each other.
right? I really don't believe there is no difference from them. I believe they're based on emotion. I believe
Well,
dark and light are the
wait.
same color. It just
Let's keep it
changes
in
with
this.
the
Let's keep it in the spectrum of
If you keep it in the color spectrum,
light.
everything,
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
becomes from black.
If
I'm gonna
you
go to
take
every.
all the colors,
I'm gonna talk about it. I'm going to black for everything. But yeah, go
but
ahead.
that's true. That's true. All colors manifested together produces black. All the colors, every color that exists, if you put them all together, you get black.
Right.
That's a fact.
Well, say that
So
again. I got
blackness,
lost. Somebody trying to call me.
all colors in the color spectrum combined produces black.
But they also produce light too at the same time. It's like the same color. It's like what I mean. They also it's like they produce damn near both sides, bro. Because they got they got power. You got the
That's what I.
like blue
That's what
to
I
the
just
lightest
said.
power and to the darkest power. So
That's what I just said.
what I'm.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I
all
I didn't
colors,
hear you because I got a
all
call.
yeah, all colors. When you take all colors, whether that be blue, green, brown, yellow, everything, all colors in the light spectrum, and combine them, they produce black.
All right.
But you can also get all of those colors out of black.
Right.
So they're one and the
It's more like
same.
color represents emotion, and somewhat it just represents emotion.
Okay, well, before we get to the
Mood.
human anatomy again, so we're moving away from the light spectrum, and we're going to go over to colors represented as vibration when we're dealing with human emotion.
Emotions and stuff like that, and also yeah, emotion.
So
Well,
Mood.
like a dark mood, like a dark energy.
a good representation of that it will be your chakra system. Even though it doesn't represent all the colors, but it represents the primary colors. Your chakra system. So those chakras have a particular color that they resonate or vibrate with, and it represents a different level in your evolution. And I mean, when you look at, you would think the heart chakra would be red, but it's not. It's green. The heart chakra is green. So colors have a profound effect on your psychology when you're around them, whether you know it or not. That's why McDonald's signs are red and yellow,
True.
because red and yellow are the bottom tier colors on the chakra wheel that deals with your desires and hunger and sex. All your lower chakras deal with your lower anatomy, your gut.
Yeah.
That's why McDonald's colors are yellow and orange and red and stuff like that.
I
Corporations
love
build,
myself some orange.
yeah. So the corporations know exactly how to incorporate
I know,
colors
right?
into things. Yeah,
They
it's a
actually
science to
use
it.
those powers against us, man. They actually
Yeah.
use those powers.
Yeah,
They make it look like it
yeah.
ain't even like that. People don't.
That's why they empower because they're using
Yeah.
those powers.
Yeah. But I
I
tell
call
people
that
all the
the star
time when you
power.
do things, I tell people, if they're aware, if they're not aware of the science and they're willing to learn the science, then it's good for us to incorporate the same stuff that they use into what we do. It's very important to use symbols, sigils. For those who don't know what a sigil is like a symbol that take for instance the word love. I could write out the word love, right? And I can take the word love and I could take all the letters and form a symbol out of it, right? It's still the word love, but I actually created a symbol out of it, connected this, connected that, turned it this way, flipped the L back and all this type of stuff and created a symbol. That symbol will be a sigil that represents a particular vibration. I can take that symbol and write it on something and it will still exude the word love. The thing is, when you're doing things of creating sigils. This is why when you go to certain places, you see symbols and things on doors and on signs. People got to understand that you don't know if these symbols are trying to keep you away or draw you in. This is why, learning the greater mysteries of how, those behind the scenes do X, Y, and Z is very important for us to equip
How
ourselves with
things get up
how
in
they
your
operate.
subconscious, how they put things to get in your subconscious. You don't even know.
Yeah, the subconscious is the that's kind of like the motherboard of your mental computer. Everything is stored on that hard drive, and your reality is created from that hard drive. That's why my teacher used to always tell us to try to clean up and get rid of a lot of subconscious clutter and junk as possible, because that what creates your reality right now is all the shit that's in your subconscious mind. That's why it's very important we don't allow our kids to be programmed with certain things, because the subconscious mind records everything whether you are aware of it or not.
Word, word.
I've seen movies, I've seen cartoons, I've seen commercials where they flash stuff so fast you literally have to pause it or slow it down, and you can see the symbol right in clear day. You can see the word right in clear day. Disney does that a lot. There's a cartoon I used to watch called um damn, it's the cartoon, the Illuminati cartoon with the little pyramid and the grandfather was a Shriner Mason.
I
Dang.
think I know what you're talking about. I
There's
can't
a
think of
little
the name of
girl and it's a little boy, and damn, I forget the name of that cartoon. It's a dope cartoon, but it's all based on the shit we talking about now. But when the cartoon comes on, right at the end, they flash all of these symbols at the end of the intro, and it's so quick you don't even see it. It's so quick you don't even see it. And one day I was like, there's something that they're showing at the end of the joint, but you can't really catch it. And I went on YouTube and found the intro trailer, and I slowed it down because you can play shit slow on there. I slowed it
it.
down and paused it, and it had all this esoteric occult shit, and it's for kids, and it's programming the subconscious mind. That stuff gets recorded by a subconscious mind, and it's stored there, whether you know it or not.
Yeah,
That happens
yeah.
in movies, and it's so fast you don't even see it with the naked eye.
You know that saying all this. It's some people. They There's a place here. I know it that got all the information that would be so like they're using like all the stuff that's actually showing its light right now.
The
All that
Vatican,
stuff's been used against us for
the Vatican,
years. I mean,
Yeah.
for years, these people got so much information on how to control a society.
Hell
the
yeah.
Vatican, the Vatican.
It's like they got stuff, dog.
Yeah, I heard about
Like
the
this stuff new
Vatican.
for a lot of people right now today. Like you just discovered this and that. And they've been using these form of witchcraft for since the 60s or the 50s. They've been using this stuff, man.
They
Who
use
are
this
they?
shit.
They're not people.
Nah.
They're not people at all.
Let's okay. Don't say let's evolve. Let's not use the term witchcraft. Reason
All
being,
right.
witches, true witches. Witches are typically people who do nature magic. They deal with the trees. They deal with the herbs. They deal with outdoors. They are dealing with the elements of outside, which is very beneficial and very helpful to anybody who wants to be in tune with nature. But they've been demonized and classified as bad. Now, don't get me. Now, let's put it in perspective. Now, don't classify a person who uses the elemental forces to do harm to people. That's not a witch, because you got wizards, you got warlocks,
Sorcerers.
you got witches, you got sorcerers. But here's the thing: we are all of those things. Give you an example. Pot, you like chilling outside, right?
Right.
You like dealing with nature. You like being around water. You might like dealing with being in the elements of absorbing sunlight and utilizing chi energy to heal you and do all this other stuff. That don't make you a bad person. That make you a nature person. And you're utilizing all the natural elements around you to manipulate your reality. There's nothing evil about that. That's just a person who's in tune with nature. I'm one of those people. I like outside. I like being around the elements. I like the herbs. I like the herbs that heal. There's nothing wrong with that. See, people love the herbal game, but yet they want to demonize people who deal with the herbs based on folklore and stuff like this. Could you have a herb that can do harm to somebody? You damn right. Could you have a herb who heals somebody? You damn right. It all depends on how you use it. The thing about sorcery, give you a good example how we are all sorcerers. You might look at a cat, let's say we back in early 90s, see somebody you don't like that dude, man. Number one, you looked at him and you mentally put it in your mind that you don't like him, which is a vibration. And you had the audacity to send it in his direction. That's sorcery. And it can go further where you can say, I hope that nigga blah, blah, blah. Or I wish that nigga blah, blah, blah. You are now putting a spell on him and send it into his direction for harm. We all do this. We all have done it. That's sorcery at its best, brother. But we think that the movies and the hooded people and they in the woods and they got big ass cauldrons and they boiling shit. That's goofy shit, man. We deal with this science every day, every single day. And I think one of the things that once we understand that, we can have more control over our reality. Once we realize that we are actually creating this entire situation on the planet right now that might not be so favorable, but the population is actually creating it because we, as a collective, believe that there is actually a problem. So the universe is saying, okay, y'all think it's a problem? I'm going to go ahead and bend to y'all will and make sure y'all have a problem. Because once you start not putting energy, which is a frequency, into anything, it ceases to exist. That's why the 5%ers always say, take the devil off your mental plane. How do you do that? You stop thinking about them. You stop discussing them. You stop worrying about them. You take them off you take anything off your mental plane that don't even exist no more.
Sure indeed. Sure indeed, God. Sure indeed, God.
Really shit though.
So once we get back into the sciences of the greater mysteries, we're able to have more control over our reality. That's God by nature. Has nothing to do with something outside of yourself. And that's one of the biggest issues is that the creative forces manifest in physical form to express itself, whether it's good or bad. Good and bad is different polarities.
It's kind of based on
Man,
somebody's opinion too.
man comes along and says what's good and bad for him. That don't make it real though. That's only for him. Because let me give you a good example. You can't tell me that it's bad to do something over here in America and then you go to another country and that shit is good. That means good and bad is relative.
Right.
It's relative, yeah. The only thing that will be good and bad or positive and negative from a universal standpoint are the universal laws that govern this dimension. That's it.
And doing unnecessary harm for unnecessary reasons.
Unnecessary harm is necessary harm, and it has its reasons. There's a necessary evil. Everything is necessary.
No. What I'm saying is how you look at it. If you was to look at it as something evil, like for instance, somebody just that want power.
What's wrong with that?
Killing people at the same time. That's like a unnecessary. That's like a personal perspective. So that's
the nature of man, though. That's the nature of man.
That's a necessary evil.
You got good, just like
that sounds crazy.
You got the good, you got the bad. That's.
No, I'm saying, but just having that, it's unnecessary. It's just unnecessary. So that's destructive to me. That's being.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
That's the nature of it. That's the nature.
Let me ask you a question. Explain to me how what you are saying is not necessary, and I'm gonna explain to you how it is necessary.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you why it's not necessary. That's like me going around beating up everybody, trying to see if I'm the best martial artist in the world, and I'm hurting people, breaking their necks and everything to prove myself. That's unnecessary destruction. That's selfish. So I call that's just unnecessary shit. Now that shit is like.
Okay.
What I'm saying,
Okay.
So it has no real purpose to it. That's a personal agenda.
And Dre might be thinking something else. But if you was just this
you can look at
machine, if you was just this ultimate fighting machine,
right?
Don't you think somebody would recruit you? Somebody would want to recruit you for some war or something? Or, you know what I'm saying? That could use you for good or evil.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but going around beating up people and killing them for no reason, just to prove a point, is unnecessary destruction. I don't think that.
To who? Somebody might need
to people. Period. Because there's really no purpose. It's like to your own personal perspective of being what you're trying to be. You're not helping you, you're not doing anything for anything. It's like you're just being destructive. To me, that's like an unnecessary.
There's good, there's evil, there's destruction, there's construction.
Yeah, I understand that, but those fit on some kind of. There is a certain way to look at that too, because some things need to be destroyed to be able to do this and that. But some things you're just destroying. Just
stop right there. Stop right there. You said some things need to be destroyed, right? In order to what? In order to what?
To build.
Okay, pause. Now, you said you going around doing what you just explained to people would be an unnecessary evil, right?
Destruction, yeah.
Destruction. And I told you, if you try to explain to me an evil that is not necessary, I'm going to show you how it is necessary.
All right.
Now, and my spiritual teacher kind of explained it this shit years ago that put life in perspective on why shit happens in the first place. Everybody here on earth has a karmic assignment. Karma. Everybody is living out their karma. Everybody is at the same time creating new karma. Everything that you're doing now is setting the stage for your new karma. Everything that you are experiencing now is from your old karma. So if you live in a box in this life, that is a situation from your old karma. What you do now in this life, while you're living in a box, set the stage for your future karma. So it's sowing and reaping at the same time. So the person who goes around beating up niggas and breaking their legs and doing all this other shit, right?
Steven Seagal style, not to mention. Go ahead.
That person, that
Make it a little
person,
brutal.
yeah, that person can and will be used by universe to deliver karma to those who have to reap that experience. You don't get to make that call. You're just used as a tool. You think it's your ego saying, yeah, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to just punch this dude in the face because I feel like it. You think that's an unnecessary evil. In a past life or this life, you don't know what type of karma that person has amassed. And now somebody's coming to punch them in the face. And on the surface, it looks like, damn, why he do that? He didn't deserve that. But you don't know his karmic debt that he got to pay from this life or the previous life. So everybody plays a part, and everybody is a necessary evil and a necessary positive.
So I guess I should just start training and just start doing that shit. And that's what you're saying? I should just go around like Batman, sneaking in people's beds and breaking their necks open while
You ain't gonna
Well,
cut
well, here, but here, no, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let's go even further. Take, for instance, what we're going through right now, right? I guess we can all agree definitively that somebody somewhere went into a laboratory and created free lunch, right? And they wanted to eliminate a lot of people, right? Now, ask yourself, why would universe allow them to go into a laboratory and create such a thing and release it on the population and kill quote unquote innocent people for nothing? Right. Or
well, I think those innocent
how
people
do you know?
created that.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
They kind of volunteered to get.
No. Do we agree that they're evil? Yes or no?
Yes, they are evil. In my opinion,
okay, I believe that. Okay, so they're evil, right?
Yeah.
Why would universe allow such evil?
I always thought that the universe was more like a machine, not a thinking one. But
okay,
like,
wait.
I always felt that we were always the thinkers.
I'm gonna get there. It is a machine, to a degree. It is a machine.
It don't give a fuck. Go ahead.
It doesn't. But here's the thing. If they're evil, and we can agree, and they're allowed to do what they're doing now to quote unquote innocent people, right? This is how we're looking at it on the surface. Then why would the universe allow such things to happen? Unless the planet as we know it has to evolve. We as a species got to go to the next level. We got a lot of people here who have not, quote unquote, woken up from their sleep yet or evolved to the next state of their enlightened evolution, right? So now that we got to make this evolutionary jump with planet Earth, universe says, you know what? And I'm being funny here because it's not saying this shit, but I'm just saying. Okay, it's time for us to go to the 5th grade. We're in the 3rd grade right now. It's time to go to the 5th grade. And mechanically, in order for us to go to 5th grade, I got to get rid of some of these people. Everybody can't go to the 4th grade because they're not ready to go to the 4th grade. And at the same time, nobody dies really. Everybody goes to the higher dimensions only to reincarnate and come back to this motherfucker. But right now, we got to get rid of some of these people because we got too many people here that are not ready to make the jump. And then we have those who are ready to make the jump. So, who gets selected for deletion? All the people that we consider innocent, right?
Right.
Universe utilizes the necessary evil to make that change. Leave everything else untouched because everything that's untouched is a part of the next evolutionary jump. So, evil as we know it is necessary because it's a mechanic of evolution, not our ego,
That is
not our
true.
ego.
That is true. I do agree with you.
So we are all being used by the mechanics of the universe to go to the next level. And going to the next level, some people are chosen, some people are not. Hopefully, everybody on this panel is chosen to go to the next phase. And I think the fact of the matter that we're having this conversation is a testament to the fact that we're probably evolved enough to be going to the next phase of where this planet is going. Take for instance, you got people here who they work, they pay bills, they they have a very mundane existence. They do everything shit the same, everything how the society says you're supposed to do it. Nothing more, nothing less. That's just what they do. But yet we are sitting on a panel here right now discussing different dimensions, astral travel, the universe, chakras, spiritual warfare, secret societies, life and death, God. You hear our conversation? Our conversation is not designed for a person who's still asleep.
Right.
But here's the thing. We're at a juncture where if you're still asleep, the universe has said, yeah, you gotta go. Because most of the sleepers are saying, hey, I want free lunch. I think free lunch is cool. But the people that who are awake are saying, you know what? I ain't fucking with that. I know better. Why? Because they have evolved enough to question and to know to get out of harm's way. So, if the Earth is going to a new evolutionary phase, the only people that's going to be left are the ones who have evolved and woken up from their deep sleep. So the necessary evil is being used to delete all the sheep from the program. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
And it's nothing personal. It's not, it's not personal. It's not like, damn, that's fucked up. It's the reality.
We're gonna take it personal for sure.
Yeah.
but I ain't got nothing to do with that. Because you know what? When we started this journey with this free lunch thing, I just had a moment where I had to just do some meditation. And my spirit was like, look, most of the people that just ran full scale head first into this shit, this free lunch thing, I started thinking about them and their psychology. The motherfuckers is not conscious.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
At all.
That was the first thing I saw. Like, y'all not listening right. Y'all not listening right. Y'all listening the wrong way. Like, listen to the.
But at the same time, like,
and I wasn't when it dawned on me. I was like, you know what? I can't be mad. They supposed to do that shit.
But it's been happening. Like, we seen this. Like, it's been happening. So you really can't get mad. You just want them to think a little more.
Exactly. Right? But it's not in their evolutionary plan right now because they are still plugged in. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that they're not ready.
I think they love what's been given to them, and they depend on what's been given to them. They like being breastfed. They don't know
it's their evolution.
They've been called out on their tricks so many times. So
I know, right?
So you just gonna fall in line and not ask anything?
Exactly.
You're right.
Knowing the history of what's going on here?
Right.
Exactly. So what is that telling us? That's telling us that you have people on Earth in this dimension who have been taken out of their what do you call those little capsules where they have you sleep in space for a long time? Some people have been, people you had a lot of people that got woken up. Their time capsule opened up and okay, they're all awake. They ready because the planet is going somewhere. The universe is going somewhere. And in order for you to take that ride, you got to be evolved enough to take that ride. Everybody can't go. And those who are getting deleted from the system are those who are still plugged in and still asleep. And the necessary evil is the evildoers who are deleting them from. How else people going to get deleted from the program if the evildoers don't do it? You tell me.
Well,
If
yeah,
if the
right though. But
necessary
yeah,
evil,
people do.
the necessary evil, because I told you, I said, you said they were evil, and you don't think that they're necessary, and I'm showing you how they're necessary because they're being used too.
Yeah, but at the same
Evil
time, they kind of created a lot of
created
things to
what?
put those people. Those people were born into ignorance to
It's
some
all
degree. They
it's
were,
all a
you know
part
what I
of a
mean?
plan. It's all a
You know
part
what I
of a
mean? It's
plan.
like, but at
Is
the
that
same time, we already know that the mind has the ability to break itself
Even if
from
he
the
was
chain.
born, there's no excuse really.
so? How you get out? How you get out, Pot?
Yeah.
How you get out?
I was always I mean, I'm gonna tell you how I got out, but at the beginning, I was always against being ordered to do things. I just never like
Okay.
if it didn't come to me naturally to a certain understanding. Like I'm not a person that like to take orders from anybody. I don't, even when I was in ROTC, I wouldn't salute the flag because from what
I
I
remember
seen
that
from the
shit.
past, they things never worked our way. So I'm like, why am I saluting a flag that doesn't respect me? So I used to tell them that all the time, and they
You
used to
think
be
that's an
like,
accident? You think that all that shit is by accident?
I don't know, Dre.
It's no accidents in the universe.
So your spirit, nigga.
But they felt me, and they, I used to come too with my hair when I used to have, they used to tell me for not saluting the flag in the morning, and
Not
they
dressing
used to
up.
tell me from wearing a hair on my face. So I
So
kind of didn't respect it at all.
so there are no things that exist in the universe that should not be. There are no accidents. Everything has place and purpose. So you came here with an agenda. We all came here with an agenda. And you got people who came here to be sheep
Right.
at this moment in time. They're not going to stay a sheep because let me show you something about evolution and reincarnation. You born, you come here. If you are still unevolved, then you come here, you get subjected to shit and moved around and all of that, and then you transition up out of here. Then you're born back. You come back and you pick up where you left off. So you got to understand there's people in their incarnations who are not evolved enough because it's not time for them to wake up. The universe don't waste nothing.
You gotta learn that lesson. You gotta learn that lesson. It's trying to teach you
Exactly.
something. You gotta
So
figure out.
eventually, the sheep will wake up. They're just not waking up now. It's not time for them to wake up. It's time for us to fucking wake up. Everybody can't go. My teacher said this shit years ago. He said, if everybody figured this shit out at one time, you will take the purpose out of existence. Think about that.
Damn.
Let's deep. Let's deep.
If everybody figured this shit out right now, everybody, there would be no purpose for none of this shit.
I'm about to say everybody's mind will be blown, and this shit is
But you know what, too, though? But some people do. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I believe they're so like afraid of looking from a certain angle or a certain perspective. They're more afraid of that. They don't even want to know the truth. So it's like sometimes
time.
it's not even the fact that they see it for what it is. They don't even want to see the other side, even if they deep down inside. I feel they somehow you got to know that this is wrong from the experience, from the past. From
I will give you this.
You got to know that something's wrong.
I will give you this. When a sheep starts to have inclinations, and a good example of that. Okay, really get what I'm about to say. Everybody is not evolved right now to wake up. They may transition out of here, get reincarnated, come back to Earth, and pick up where they left off, right? Each time they come back, they move closer and closer and closer to waking up, right? Now, here's the thing. It is somebody we know that is on the brink of being awake, but they're still a sheep. And being that they're still a sheep, they may get caught up, where they have got caught up in this cycle. I'm going to call it a cycle. And Whatever comes out of that comes out of that. The next time that person comes back to this dimension or plane, born again, not as that person, because each time you come back, you're somebody different. But that soul, when it comes back again, I can probably guarantee you that that person will probably wake up in the next incarnation because they're so close now, but they're still stuck in sheep world. Y'all know who I'm talking about because they can
Yes,
talk
and not
about.
just that person. It's a lot of them though. It's a lot of them. Like, we
But
all know
but
we
you
got a
know
lot of
but
them.
you know who I'm talking
Yeah,
about. So
yeah.
you got people who have glimpses in their being that they know this shit ain't right, but they're not ready to give it up, and they have to suffer for that. So they'll make bad decisions because they're still quote unquote in their slumber. But when they come back again, best believe 9 times out of 10 he'll come back and he'll have those experiences where he'll wake up and then he'll be like our ass full scale on 100 with this shit. So now you understand how evolution works on a bigger scale. So don't get caught up in the fact that they don't want to listen. They don't want to. It's just not their time. It's really not.
Yeah.
It's not their time.
And even with that, I got tired of wasting my energy. I don't even want to say wasting, but using my energy to try to tell them reasons why they shouldn't.
Yeah,
You know, I'm fighting
exactly.
them. It's
You
not
can't win that war. I stopped a long time. I don't even do
not
it no more, dog.
really worth it.
That's
It's too draining for me, man.
yeah. That's energy that we're supposed to be cultivating within ourselves to help us on our
Yeah,
evolution.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
very important because
yeah.
and this is where your Bible stories come from when they talk about times where whole cities got destroyed and those who got saved they were given instructions to say, "Hey, I'm gonna destroy this shit Tuesday. Y'all need to be out on Monday. I'm telling y'all because y'all special, y'all chosen.
Right.
So if you're gonna listen to me, get the fuck out. If you're not, you're gonna go down with the ship." And that's pretty much what we're going through now. Our spirit has told us, look, this is what's going on, and this is how you stay out of harm's way. We either gonna listen or we don't. I think we are evolved enough to listen. I
Yeah.
think we're at that stage to say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna fall back on this one because
I'm
you know,
listening to me, man. I don't.
yeah,
I can't. Just something don't sit right with me. I'm not. Just even if I don't. I just something just in my soul. Nah, that ain't. It don't sound right. It's don't fall for it.
and that's the connection to higher self, and
And
higher self wants to be the guide.
even before I started doing all the little research, listening to the little videos, and you know what I'm saying, doing all that.
You
Just
just
something
knew,
said with me, yo, nah, there's something ain't right,
yeah, yeah,
you know.
and
And I'm gonna
that's
tell
the
you why you
evolve.
say that. Why something ain't right? Because it's all man made. Everything is damn near man made. It's like you can't have
Necess-
somebody come up and make something and tell you like this is the solution. You know what I mean?
necessary
Like this is the
evil.
solution for this. It's like you can't just tell me that I gotta trust what you did. That's gonna save me when I can, when I can find my own way that, like naturally, I don't need the artificial thing to
And when they pass, say they don't give
save
a
me.
fuck
You know what I
about
mean?
you.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
It's
it's
a
just
double
that I
thing.
don't. I mean, I never believed in anything like that anyway. It don't make sense anyway. At the same time, if you pay attention to what's been said, because some people really think free lunch is antidote or medicine. They don't even know no more than that. They just, you know what I mean? They just jump on the bandwagon. You know what I mean? So even antidote, I mean, I wouldn't even mess with that. I would rather deal with it now. You know what I mean? I always like to deal with it now.
Shoppy.
How I am. Like, so if something doesn't seem natural to me, I
Pot, you sound like a
automatically
robot.
reject it. I'm like a cat. Huh? Yeah, the sound, whatever.
This
I
shit was
think
sounding
the
like a robot.
signal, whatever.
But
Strong.
But
yeah, I
yeah,
think
man, just like animals, man, when they sniff stuff, and if it ain't food, they don't even need it.
you sound like a
Certain
robot.
animals that are not just brainwashed by the being raised to eat things, maybe they'll eat it, but any other real animal that was brought up at all.
Anybody hit none you just said.
Yeah, that shit was sounding
Damn.
crazy.
I feel like Forrest Gump right now.
All I heard was cat food. All I heard was cat sniffing.
Yeah,
Cat food.
but but yeah, man.
Yeah.
We're at the
I'm just saying, like,
pot.
They don't give
Yeah,
up.
your audio is wild. But we're at the 145 mark, which is a pretty good mark for us this evening. I think the bill was pretty cool, man. Like I said, the show was the greater mysteries, and I just wanted to unpack thought, regardless of what direction it took us in or what came out of it. I just wanted to unpack it, and this is what a lot of philosophers used to do back in the day. They used to get together in a big ass forum, and everybody came from different aspects of life, and they just would build on the greater mysteries of life, and they will come to a consensus because everybody had a piece. Everybody had a piece.
Yeah.
You know,
everybody got their own philosophy of the way they think. You know what I mean? You just come together, like you say, build, and then you come to a conclusion from that, man.
Yep. Because I might be missing a piece that you got, and I never really thought about it or arrived at that reality yet. And by building with you, you might add on to my piece that I need. And be like, yo, that's it. I've been trying to figure this shit out forever. And that's why it's good to, as we say, build. But building goes back, in ancient times where the greatest minds used to get together and just talk about the greater mysteries of the universe. So, on that note, yeah.
That's a word.
No doubt.
I just made up a word. Yeah.
That's the reality of
your audio. Oh, he's still on mute.
Yeah.
But now it was a good one. This was a good one though.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and call it a night.
Yeah, man.
All right, you good? Let me see what's going on with him. Oh, there you go, brother.
I don't know why I started acting funny.
But yeah, man, it's been great. Yeah, Pot, you got an echo. I think your phone is up too loud. I'm gonna have to mute that brother again as I do this outro. But anyway, yeah, I am your host, Brother Mordeeb, and this is Brainwashed on Heavy. I would like to thank my panel, Brother DCR, and my brother Ricks. It's always a good time to build and expound on the greater mysteries of the universe, and I just hope people would just really get into what puzzles them, but at the same time, when you are puzzled about something, take the time to dig at it a little bit, because you'll be surprised what you can get out of these little nuggets of something is just not right. It'll lead you down a rabbit hole, which is cool.
You're headed in the right direction. Once you start thinking and questioning, you're headed in the right direction. Sure.
Exactly. So don't pour water on that inner fire, man. Let that inner fire fester and burn, because that is the light that's going to lead you in the darkness. And trust me, we're in dark times right now, but enlightenment is the key. And as long as we do that, we good. And you know it.